We've received a few things in the mail for the boat. Let's take a look at these now. Let's see what we came up with. Spring is generally a time most people will buy a lot of the boats because they're getting it ready for the new season. My boat ordered several things. So this is from, let's get the name, Boaters Emporium. And last year, or I should say in the fall, I noticed that I had to get some new sacrificials. Now, these are the 2-inch, bigger 2-inch, something like that, probably the 2-inch for the dry shaft. Now, what originally came, get this out of the way, get this over here, these are the ones that I took off of the boat. Let's take a look at nickel. So originally what was on the boat was not this coupling stock. It was actually a nut stock, which is, I've never seen this before, but I did get it off. I tried to save it as much as possible. I had to break it off. This goes over the prop nut. And the prop nut in this case is brass, so what you want is something that's going to actually deteriorate faster than the brass, and in this case this would have. Now these are zinc. Okay, these are not aluminum or magnesium. Why do they go with zinc? Because, well, they're probably cheaper and they were from the original equipment that was on the boat, or which was on the boat, let's say, original equipment. But anyways, this I would have been great, and I did find these online. The only problem is that you have to pull the prop to put these on, and no, I wasn't going to do that. So I did not bother buying this, but I did buy these. These actually are very useful, very easy to go on, and I'll have a video putting them on. But they're just 2 bolts, puts on. I got 2 of them. I don't think I'm going to put both on. I'll certainly put the one on and have a backup for what it's worth. In case one spins off or gets lost or whatever, I'll have the backup. So that's what those are. These are great. Now, why zinc? Well, again, zinc I think is kind of the universal. It's old school, and pretty much everybody is using them. They are heavier. They're probably not great in fresh water, but then again, fresh water you don't have the electrolysis problem as much as you do in salt water, whereas these are very good in salt water. So I had aluminum that I put on a carver. They were obviously much lighter weight, and they were fine for what the purpose is. But since these came off, or since our boat will be both in fresh and salt water, I decided to go with the zinc. Now, magnesium, I don't know that much about magnesium. I think it's more for salt water only, but I'm not really sure. But again, that's why I went with the zinc. So, put those, get those out of the way. This also, there came in 2 shipments. This also is from Boaters Emporium. Now, why did I get Boaters Emporium? Well, because frankly, they were the cheapest, both in shipping and deliveries. So they shipped these in 2 separate boxes, probably because of weight, I'm guessing. So I've packing set. Let's take a look and see down here. Another zinc. Now this actually is the second tank for the rudder. Now, a lot of times you'll see on the rudders the round ones, but these were identical to what was on it originally. The ones I took off, and let's see, I got that somewhere. As you can see, they really deteriorated badly. So I went basically with the same thing again. So I did get these. These work. They work fine. Easy to bolt on. Again, these go on the rudder. Again, they are a zinc. A little heavier, but I'm not too worried about it. And finally here we have a larger, again, this is just a larger sacrificial that goes on the hull. Now this will take care of anything else that might be on the hull. This is the one I took off, and it doesn't really look all that bad. But I might just keep this as a spare and put the new one on since I'm replacing all of them. Anyways, again, I will have a video. I'm going to actually put these together. I will have a video of putting in the zincs, the wind, to get that all in. There's in there, put that in there. Oh, I guess we'll put them all in the box. This here, and close enough. We'll take care about that later. Now, the next box, I should destroy these, and I get rid of those. The next box is actually something that we would have really liked to have earlier. Now, the KD curl gun, it is not stabilized, so we really need to be careful with the balance of the bow. And there is a list, and it's 5 degrees, about 5 degrees to the port side. Now, why is that? Well, there's 2 tanks, fuel tanks. There's one on the port, one on the starboard. They're both about 600 or 300 gallons each. Now, the main draw is off the, actually it's off of shear. I have the Seacock open, or open for both draws, which is fine. But when we run the genset, it only pulls off of the starboard side. So the starboard side is always going to be a little less fuel in it, which then obviously gives us that tilt, if you wish, to the starboard, or excuse me, the port. Now, there is in there a transfer pump that will pump fuel from one side to the other. The only problem is it leaks terribly. Now, I attempted, I took apart a little bit and I tightened everything up, and it still leaks terribly. And so I said, well, I could buy a rebuild kit, which would have been fairly inexpensive, under $100, or bite the bullet and just buy a brand new system. Now, why not the rebuild? Well, the rebuild kits are fine, but they do eventually fail more because there's other things that can go bad. Therefore, I went with a brand new pump. So this should be it. Now, this came from iMarine. iMarine, again, pretty much it's identical to the one that was on the boat. Now, the manufacturer has changed the name, or the part number, so this is not exactly, it's Jabsco is the manufacturer of the part. And they did change the name and a little bit of the layout of it, but it's still basically the same pump. So let's take a look and see. So I did not take that one off yet, so I just can't compare it. I should do a quick visual. And yes, it is the same, basically the same pump. And again, you'll have your, it'll be mounted on the bulkhead here, like so. It has a pretty good dry pump draw of about 3 feet, so that's not a big deal. Which should be almost in line with the fixtures. Now, this side obviously will connect to the, not obviously, but it will connect to the port side, port tank, and this is connected to the starboard tank. It's just a 12-volt hookup. I'll just reconnect into that. Now, the old one had the control up at the top. Now, in the center, it's not functioning. Left, what it does is pulls from the left tank, and it will pump to the right. To the right, pulls from the right, takes it into the left. So it is a reversible model, which is good. The model number, in case you're wondering, is 18680-1000. And again, it is Jabsco, 12 volt. It's got a 15 amp fuse, and I think it pumps about 6 gallons a minute, something like that. Memory serves right. So this is definitely going to be a well look forward to addition or replacement on the boat, because it does not track well. You get some wave action because of that list. It kind of throws you off. So this should help quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to getting this put on, and I will do this, weather permitting, when I go back in about 3 weeks or so. It comes with all kinds of nice connections here, and instructions, and all that good stuff. Anyway, so that's what we got going now. Will there be other things? Sure. I do have a new dinghy cover that'll be coming, and I'll be looking forward to putting that on. And again, for the heck of it, we'll just go ahead and make a video of that going on. And I suspect there'll be other things happening as the season progresses and as we get closer to the season. So that's it for now. More on mail call. We'll get something to talk about. Okay, take care. Have a good day. Forgot one more thing to add is that I did order a side power stern thruster. Now the boat did come with a bow thruster built in. Well, it's actually built into the hull. I don't know if it's original equipment or an aftermarket, but it doesn't matter. It came with the boat. But it really needs a stern thruster since it is a single screw, and maneuvering can be difficult, especially if you're trying to get into tight places. So that is coming. Probably in about 4 weeks or so. I ordered it custom, so that is coming, and when it does arrive, we'll show you, and we'll talk about putting that on too. Okay, take care.